All right, this video is for doing the melodic variation on your theme and variation um, composition. And so you should have already done your theme and your rhythmic variation, and now you're going to be able to change not only the rhythm but also the pitch. So we're going to add notes that go in between the melody that is there, not just keep the same notes. Now there's a couple different ways you can go in between, and here, this website shows you some of the ways that you can go around different notes. And this site uses it in the context of harmony, but it also works for melody. So going from this note to that note, you can use a note to kind of go in between, even though it's the same note. Now this is in the context of the chords. We don't have to worry about the chords yet. We're just thinking about the way notes are moving along. Okay, when it goes up one or up down from line to space or space to line, it's called a step. And when it goes more than that, it's called a skip. So if we're going from this note here and you want to get down to this note, you can go in between. It's kind of like a connecting note, and that's called a passing tone, because it's just going to pass that tone on its way down. It can also go up. There's also something called a neighboring tone. So if you have the same note in two places, you can have one that just goes up to the neighbor's house and then back, or across the street to the neighbor's house and then back. That's called a neighboring tone. And you don't need to necessarily memorize these, but it's kind of a good idea to familiarize yourself with these. And anticipation is when you go to the next note a little bit early. So maybe you have one note, and then a little bit before the next note, you do that same note before. An escape tone is when you step in one direction and then you skip in the opposite direction. And these aren't as common. And the appoggiatura is the opposite. You're going to step in one direction, or I'm sorry, you're going to skip in one direction and step in the other direction. So you're going from this note to that note. So it's a skip past it and then back down. I used some of that in the melodic variation I created in the first video, where you were identifying the different variations. We're not going to worry about these two at all. Okay. So the main, you can also use changing tones. Okay. We're basically thinking about ways we can connect the pitch that is already there and adding different pitch in there. The main ones you're going to be worried about are neighboring tones and passing tones and changing tones. Now I'll demonstrate on the piano, but hopefully it's enough of a visual representation you can see how it's done and you can apply that to any instrument. Okay, so we have our normal theme. And then last week you also did your rhythmic variation. Okay, so this week we're talking about changing the melody. So we're going to use some of those connecting notes to literally connect the music. So if you're playing on an instrument, C, and then G, or Do, and then So, you're going to think of a way to connect those rhythms together. The easiest way to do it is to connect it by using the passing tones or the connecting tones. La, 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 la. So I'm starting here, and I have to get to there. So what can I do in between there? La, 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 la. Or I can skip around. La, 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 la. But I'm ending there. I'm thinking about my first note. La, 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 la. And I want to add something in between that's going to make the melody more intricate, but also land there. La, 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 la. The next part. Okay, so it's G, G, A, G. But I want to add some notes in between there. So maybe I go G, A, B, A, G, A, So I have la, 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 la. Okay, and experiment a little bit thinking about the notes where you're going to land. So start with one note, la, la, you're going to land there. Do something in between. Then the next part, la, la. So on there I might jump past it, la, 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 because I'm going from G to A, or so to la. Or I can just go down and go back up, so, la, 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 and then back to this note, la, 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 la. So I have this, la, 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 la. It's the variation that I played in the video, okay? You can just add extra notes in between. La, 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 la. A lot of singers do this. They have a melody and they add extra notes in there. Some of you, when you were singing your theme, you actually did add some extra notes, so you already know how to do this. La, 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 la. Now I'm going from here to here. I can just go la, 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 la. I'm going here to here, G to F, F to E, E to D, D to C. Now I can also use patterns. So I'm going to go up, and so I can land on that next note. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Okay, so make sure after you record it, you listen to it and make sure you can still hear those original notes. Good luck to you.